found working with fleets in this space over the last decade is that they are somewhat on their own. So even though different pieces in the ecosystem are existing, they aren't talking to each other. And so it's left up to an individual fleet manager who has, if you're thinking about this person, their job is to make sure that vehicles are on the road doing what they need to do. Their job isn't to understand everything about a changing ecosystem and a changing technology. And so what we need to do is not just empower them with the right information, because they are on the hook for what is usually a very significant capital investment as well as an infrastructure investment. But we need to make sure that we're bringing to the table enough collaboration amongst the different partners in this ecosystem.
So I'm Norwegian, and in Norway, in the last month, we did the tally, 95% of all cars sold were electric, 95%. And we will have 100% of all cars sold probably in 2025. Of course, Norway has the big advantage that we just removed taxes on electric vehicles, which were 100%, right? So therefore, adoption of electric vehicles were easy for us to do. And to Karin's point, we have 100% clean electricity in the country, but we have been able to develop an infrastructure which basically allows almost everyone now to think about having an electric car. And I think also electric cars passed gasoline cars just here the other week, right? So there are more electric cars on the road in terms of total fleet than gasoline cars on the road. So Norway is an example of how this can happen, but building out infrastructure is going to be key.
The whole piece that we've done at Formula E is showcasing that excitement and sustainability can actually really coexist and compromise. And sustainability means that those people basically, when they start experiencing what Formula E is all about, first of all, they come by public transport, because the racing that is offered to them is not coming with a parking space. It never, ever, basically on our events, people can come by car. They have to come by public transport or walking, cycling, and so on and so forth. And that goes basically through the experience of seeing those cars that are electric, that are fast, that are, it's really exciting to see them overtaking and so on. Sometimes some accidents that then, go on to the reliability of the vehicles. And so basically they get away with this, experience and then perception of thinking, well, actually Formula E is driving in the heart of my city or in the heart of the main cities in the world. There's something that I can project myself basically doing and seeing tomorrow, which is driving an electric vehicle.
I think some of what we should start to foster from our government isn't necessarily target setting or just incentivizing that capital purchase, but instead setting up the types of programs and systems that are necessary for this transformation. And so sometimes that looks like open standards, communication, making sure that if we are going to have a system that works because of connectivity, that we're able to have all of those different systems talk to each other.
One reflection, if governments really want to incentivize clean solutions, they should really put a price on what they want to have less of. It's kind of obvious. The second thing is indirect and direct subsidies to the fossil fuel industry today is about $7 trillion, right? And if you remove the direct subsidies, the indirect subsidies, which basically is a reflection of the social cost of carbon, is roughly the same amount that we annually need to invest into clean energy technologies.
Public procurement is one of the instruments or tools that has proven to be very, very valuable, at least in our space. If we look upon city buses, for example, in Europe, I think we've been able to transfer in many big cities into completely electric fleets by the fact that we have public procurement. And that, of course, leads the way then into other types of vehicles. It will drive down cost, etc. But we will also learn what it means actually to have to drive electric vehicles in big cities and how that system needs to be set up. I think what's moving now a little bit for us, which is also very interesting, is on the construction equipment side. It's not on the roads, but it's still very much in the city. So walking around here in New York, around, you can see all this construction going on. We have really reflected upon the fact that it's super noisy, and if you would go electric instead, which is possible today, you would not only get rid of the emissions, you would also get rid of the noise, the vibration, other types of emission, pollution, and it would be much better for the operators because of the less noise and vibration, etc. And that is another area where we can use public procurement.
And I think there's short-sightedness for us. We want to get as many cars on the road, but looking deep into the future, what are we going to do with these batteries in the future? How can we extend those to maybe lower income families and have those be their backup for a city like Houston that goes through hurricanes and needs a resilient, affordable solution?
$1.7 trillion went into the energy transition last year, which is like 2.5 to 3x where it needs to be, right? So it's not there yet, but it's moving in that direction. It's moving very fast in that direction. And it's driven by technological solutions that are cheaper and better, and that continue to become even cheaper and even better. There was a study that came out from Nature that looked at what will be the lowest cost of electricity generation across the planet by 2030, based on current trends and evolutions in technology. And the only two countries on the planet where solar plus storage is not going to be the cheapest form of electricity is Norway and Sweden. So this is happening. It's not a question of whether it's happening. The only question is how fast, and whether Europe and US wants to be part of generating and building and having that security of supply of what is critical energy infrastructure. We're moving to a world where energy will be produced in a decentralized manner, in a decarbonized manner, and therefore it will democratize